So, you finally decided to make a YouTube channel. You have all the ideas, you have all the equipment, well, some of the equipment anyway. Now all you have to do is learn how to edit. But even before that, you have to decide which editor to go for. In the next handful of videos, I will be teaching you how to use my editor of choice, Shotcut. In today's video, I'll be telling you why this editor is worth using. This won't be a list type video, instead it'll just be me generally going over why I chose Shotcut and what it has to offer, as well as go over why it is the best video editor, especially for people just starting out. Okay, so first let me open up Shotcut, and while this opens up, I would like to take a minute to remind you guys that this video is not part 1 or a beginner's guide to Shotcut or anything like that. My aim for this video is to teach you guys how to edit in Shotcut without having to use any of the fancy features that it has. No filters, no properties, no messing around with any of this stuff. I'm just going to need the media files, which you can just drag and drop into the playlist over here. Oh, and in the default layout, let me return to default layout. The playlist might not be open in the default layout, and I usually like to remove these two things. The playlist is over here. Just click this and then drag all of the items into this. This is the area where you have to put all of the files for your project, your photos, your videos, your audio files, everything goes in here. Now at the bottom will be your timeline. Right now that's all we need to focus on. You should be able to create video and audio tracks. So I usually like to start out with 2 video tracks and a single audio track, but you can add as many as you like depending upon your project. And what you want to do is stretch this out so you don't have to scroll to view all of your different parts of your timeline. Now what you can do is drag and drop any of your videos. You'll drop them into video 1. Okay, so we just dropped a video clip. Now the first thing that you might want to do is to cut out parts from a video that you don't want. Now there are a few buttons over here that you might need to focus on. This is the zoom slider, which would let you zoom in or zoom out onto the timeline. Since this is a short project, we can just zoom all the way in and it should be no problem. So you can go pretty much frame by frame, but we don't need that for this project right now. What you can do is focus on this button right here. This says split at playhead. This white line is known as a playhead, and it marks at which exact frame or at which exact millisecond your video is at. So if you hit this button, or it has a, as you can see in parentheses or brackets, S, which means if you hit S, anything that's highlighted, if V1 is highlighted, any part or any clip that is underneath your playhead will get split, like so. Now these, instead of being one single clip, are now 2 clips, so they still play the same, but now you can do different things with both of these clips. So like if I want to remove this one, I can, and I would like to remove some from the end. I would like to remove it from right here. I click on this, hit S, which is a shortcut for this split playhead right here. Even if I, let me undo this, even if I click here and click this button, it'll do the same thing. And then I can remove this. So now I've removed everything I wanted to remove. Now there's another way you can do this. As you can see, once you go to the start or the end of a clip, you can see that the cursor changes. This will basically allow you to shorten the length of your video, but this won't speed it up or slow it down. Instead, this will actually cut it at the beginning or at the end. So from here, as you can see, it's green, which basically means you can only extend it. So I can bring what I took, or I can make it go further inwards. And then this I would like to bring in more. Now these are the two ways you can cut from your videos, or even the length of your photos, because a photo is pretty much one frame going across as many seconds as you want. Let me give you an example of that. So if I put a photo here, and then I extend it, let me extend it, it should now, as you can see, the playhead is going across it and it's being played for longer. As far as the editor is concerned, it's a one frame video. Frame basically means it's just another word for image. One image means one frame in a video. So what you can do now is you can also shorten this to the point where it's basically just one or as many frames as this is. Let me bring another image after it because it ended right there. So as you will see there, it just flashed for less than a second. So that's how you can mess around. Now something else you can do, let me bring in another video, is you can add transitions to your video. So as you can see, as you just saw, this video ended and the other one began, but what you want to do is you want it to transition from the end of this video to the beginning of this video. So what you can do, and what you'd want to do, is first bring back a few extra seconds of the video you cut off, and since this is already at its beginning, you can't bring back anything else because this is already the beginning of the video. We haven't cut this video at all yet. You need to bring these two exactly together, and then if you try to overlap them, the amount that you overlap them will be converted into a cross dissolve transition. As you just saw, one of the video faded out and the other video faded in. This is what's known as a cross dissolve. Now what you can do is through properties you can try different transitions and do different smoothing effects and different timings for this, but currently, since we're only doing editing without leaving the timeline, this is pretty much what you get. You can set the length of your transition after the fact by basically going over here where the cursor shows up, and then you can either extend it from this clip or extend and retract it from this clip. So basically, if you want to add more or less transitions from any of the sides, you can. So now it's longer, and now it's shorter. Okay, so that was video cutting and video transitions. Now a few other things that you might want to know are these options right here. Now as you can see, this part is, and if this extended anymore, let me show you by adding a random image. this entire part has been highlighted in yellow color. What this basically means is you have currently selected the V1, or you can rename this to anything you want actually, but default is V1, which means video clip 1. What this means is any of these, especially the split clip button that you press, will apply to clips in this, on this, basically this track. So if I have the playhead here and I have a clip here, as you will see, I have selected this clip, and if I hit S, it will cut this clip. Let me undo. And if I have this side selected, now it cut this clip. And then the other thing is visibility. So once you start doing more complicated projects, you might end up having a lot of images that overlap with one another, and you might end up needing a sound from this image, but you might not want the clip. So what you can do is hit the visibility button, and now it won't show the image. But if this image had a sound, it would still play the sound. And you can see if I bring it back, as you can see, the image comes back. But if I mute it, this is mute. This will mute the entire track. So to better explain that, let me drop this music onto it, and it's a long clip, sorry. So now as you can see, if I start playing, okay, as you just heard, we do have the music, but we also have this, as you can see, this, the sound effects from this video, and we don't want that. Now to mute individual clips in a track, you do have a filter that mutes or can adjust the volume of every single track. But once again, since we're not messing around with properties or filters, muting an entire track can be done through this. Now as you can see, the visualizations of the sounds on this track no longer exist. So now the videos are entirely silent. So if I unmute these, and as you can see, the sound waves came back. Mute this, they're gone. Now you'll be able to hear the videos, but not the music. So let me bring this back. And do keep in mind, everything that I've shown you for up here works on audio. You can split audio the same way you can split video. You can add transitions to audio the same way you can add transitions to video. What will happen is the sound will fade out from one of the clips and will fade into the other. So I currently have one sound clip. Let me, if I cut it from here and then cut a large portion of it up to this end, because this is, I guess, where the sound is raising, cut this off, then I can remove this. Now if we come back to this part, as you will see there, now if we drag these together, you create a cross dissolve in the audio and you'll be able to hear it. Another thing you have to know is, by default, audio files will have one effect applied to them, allowing you, if you look here, I've applied a fade out effect. If you look at this, I can disable this and the audio will end. Or if I come over here and I drag this, the audio will start fading out. Now these effects can be applied, but by default all audio files will have the fade in and fade out effect applied to them, so you could directly add fade ins and fade outs to audio files. And now to export, all you have to do is hit export, decide on which format you want. You can do audio if you want to extract audio from a video, or you can do what you'd mostly want is YouTube, since it's MP4. You can go to advanced, which will let you set the resolution, the interlacing methods. These are all advanced things. You can pretty much leave this alone and just, without messing around in advanced, you can just hit export file, name the file video project 1 and save. Now this shows up. This is your tasks or your jobs, everything that you do in the editor, whether you're rendering, whether you're creating a log file, it will all show up here. It will show you whether it's done, if it has an error, or if it's in progress. You can open it up from your view section. At the bottom there is the job section, so if you end up closing this, you can find it here. And here is the finished video. So this is basically how you can edit without having to mess around with any of the other features that the editor has to offer. And essentially what this allows you to do is to have a modern version of Windows Movie Maker, since Windows Movie Maker is no longer supported by Microsoft. So in the next video we'll be continuing with Shotcut, and I will be giving the full basic beginner's guide for Shotcut and how to edit using Shotcut. For now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you gained something from this video. Allah Hafiz.